everyone. How are y'all flowing this plasma?
We are back. We got your favorite spiritual couple in the house. And we are so excited to also introduce to you Eso. Do you prefer Eso the God? Because I kind of like that. I like Eso the God.
Okay, you could say that. You could say that.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, let's make sure we can go live on Instagram too. 1 second. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Boom, live on Instagram. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I think I can rearrange these to where it's,
Okay.
Do we like that better? Nah, we don't like that, do we?
Yeah, it don't matter to me, really. You know. Okay.
I want to do them like on top of each other. Okay, well, it won't let me do that. We just flip-flop.
We just out here.
Just out here. Okay. Welcome, everyone. We are going live to talk about
the Integrator Summit.
Yes.
February 18th. So we have this amazing God right here. This brother is so amazing. I'm gonna let him tell us about his journey because I want him to do it justice.
Yes. So Eso, take the floor.
Yes. Tell us how you got started tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started on this journey.
Okay. Yeah. So I got started onto the I guess you could say the spiritual cultivation path. It was really a close friend of mine that knew how to live on energy, you know, and he was telling me things about just charging the battery, opening the channels, and it was an unusual approach because he never liked when I fasted for a long time, like, or if I would try to go detox, and he said, hey man, look, you skipping preliminary steps, brother, you know, because he would talk about how you had to achieve a certain level of breathing in order for your meditations to charge you up. Now, here's the funny part. This brother never taught me, he didn't show me how to do it, you know, so it was a strange thing because I thought that my meditations was energy cultivation. So what I came to understand was that most people's what you call meditation or layman meditation mainly dealt with like regulating the emotional mind, like, or they call it layman meditation. So, you know, I first started with a meditation called Jam Django, QiGong meditation, and this is from a good elder. He called Elatom Elamine. I don't know if you guys follow him on.
Yes. Yeah. I know you're talking about.
So, yeah, I started with his meditation. And, you know, it was, I started to see some things, man. I was dedicated. I woke up every day. You know, I started my urine therapy, right? And I started to just see, I became more conscious of, you know, I just became more conscious of this process that's kind of dormant in us. But, you know, we're not conscious of our connection to nature. So then, just to kind of cut the story short, no, let me not skip this part. So most people's meditations are conservation and circulation. Okay. So the Chinese call it, you have two types of chi. You have before heaven chi and after heaven chi. So before heaven chi is the chi that was inherited from your parents. Okay. Or that's maybe from a past life. So, for example, a lot of people don't know that each person inherits different levels of before heaven chi. That's why you notice there's some people that could have bad habits, eat bad, do all these things for a long period of time, and for some reason they don't get sick, not right away. It takes longer. They still live a long life. Whereas you got some youth, man, you got brothers and sisters, young children in like 14, 16, got diabetes, you know, you got people 22, stage 4 cancer. The big reason is they did not inherit a lot of before having chi.
Mm.
Okay. But here's the thing. You can start to incorporate energy exercises and develop what's known as after having chi. See, that's the chi that you harness and cultivate consciously in spiritual practice. All right. Like what I teach with QiGong. All right. Now, the thing is, most of what you call the QiGong, medical QiGong, and certain exercises online are just circulating the before having chi, the chi you already have. Now, don't get me wrong. You can still eventually develop to where you get that after having chi. So what I specialize in, it's in this technique that was passed on in this Buddhist Kung Fu family by my grandmaster, from my grandmaster and my Shifu, Misan. It's an internal technique where you stretch open the body, stretch open the abdomen, open the back and front channel at will instead of waiting for it to happen naturally. So a lot of the other techniques are a much more gentle approach, whereas with us, we teach you how to like kind of bust that open. You know, you going in the body and you making it happen at will. So it does take some time, but you can achieve this certain level of cultivation of the breath in a much more reasonable time with this qigong breathing technique, which is again not as known amongst in the qigong community, not like that. Okay, because there's levels, just like how you got like 3G, 4G, 5G, right? You got different levels of efficiency, of speed, right? So there's cultivation techniques that are more, in a sense, much more efficient than other ones. It doesn't mean the other ones aren't good, because sometimes the one that opens you up and is more efficient may not be for that person. So that doesn't mean necessarily that'll be better for them, if that makes sense. So again, this is when I realized, so I started this reverse abdominal breath technique. That's what it's called in the qigong, to where you open up the body. And I began to stretch open my abdomen and breathe into my abdomen, which is where your battery is. So you have to understand that the battery in the human body is your lower abdomen. That's where the energy is stored. Just like how your cell phone has a rechargeable battery, all right? You could charge it up. Your body also has a rechargeable battery. However, you had to know how to do, I think they call it, it's different names to it, but some texts call it embryonic breathing, to where you achieve this level of breathing, where you can harness and store the breath, where it accumulates and becomes so abundant in the lower abdomen that you almost feel pregnant. Like it's a fullness in the abdomen, like when you eat food and you feel full. But this ain't that type of full like with food, with dense food. It's actually a fullness from your energy exercises. So when you accumulate that energy abundantly in the lower abdomen first, you then can take that stored energy and bust open and force open your channels. All right. Specifically with the stretches, the stances, twisting the spine, all the things we do in qigong. But the foundation is knowing how to cultivate energy. So when I say cultivate energy, that's kind of a loaded term. A lot of people think it's the sensations you feel through the body, the fingertips, tingling, and all that. When in actuality, cultivating energy starts off with a fullness in the lower abdomen. Like I say, that pregnant-like feeling. Even with Buddha, the big belly on Buddha, there's a saying in Chinese culture, even in ancient Egypt, it's called empty mind, full abdomen. Okay, the empty mind is psychology, and the full abdomen is physiology, full of chi. That's when the mind and body becomes one. All right. So what does that mean? When you feel that fullness, you have now accumulated more after having chi consciously, rather than just dealing with the prenatal before having chi that you inherited. That's what I can say that I specialize in. It's a mouthful.
Wow. No, that
No,
was
that was
amazing.
that. Look, that was a full bar right there. Like that
Just
was.
simple. Just simple. Down to earth.
Man,
Right.
I love how you just broke that down so simply, but it's extremely profound when you're talking about that chi, because there's so many different aspects to our being. You know, we when we get into the conscious community, we hear about the chakras, but we don't really hear about the chi as much, and the importance of that and the dantian.
Right. Right.
So,
It's I just want to say it's not a common thing that's felt like that. You know, you would be surprised that knowing how to fill up your battery, that's not known that much. Not as much as we think it is, because even the true abdominal breath isn't where, okay, a lot of people believe the abdominal breathing is when you inhale, the belly expands. When you exhale, it contracts in. Now, that is uh, a step up from chest breathing, right? When you breathing up in the chest, like you have people that breathe like they have a panic attack. That's how they breathe throughout the day. Now,
mhm,
if you do some yoga or Vipassana meditation, a lot of people can bring it down and they can start belly breathing, right?
mhm,
Now,
mhm.
again, it's just the half of the abdominal breath, but belly breathing still, it isn't like the full breathing that charges the battery. There's a breathing that's deeper than belly breathing, okay? It's you could call it lower dantian breathing, embryonic breath, whatever you want to call it, but it's when you start to breathe, the breath feels very light and gentle, and it's like an infant when you're breathing and penetrating deep into the lower regions of the body. And then you feel that accumulation, that storehouse, where again, even now when I breathe, it's a full feeling in the abdomen. And you feel, and this is how the Shaolin monks, their abdominal breathing was much different than the rest of the world.
Hmm.
That's what I want to introduce you to, because then you can start to generate power from the breath in your abdomen. When they would be in horse stance and certain stances, it wouldn't be because they're only their muscles and knees and ligaments are strong. It would be because they've accumulated a lot of chi in the lower dantian, and then from the lower abdomen, as you slow down the breath and when you be in that posture, your breathing has become so relaxed that the posture begins to breathe itself. So you will feel the dantian connect to the legs, connect to the hands, and fill up the thighs, the calves, the limbs. You will feel yourself filling up the limbs and the body with internal energy. So basically, exercise, the Western world, most people are doing half of exercise, which is in Chinese, I think they call it Yun Dong. Yun means fitness, movement, half. Dong means internal chi, life
Mm.
force. So true exercise, it's a spiritual thing actually, and meant to help for meditation. Whereas true exercise is when you do movement, but you're also filling the body up efficiently with the chi, with the breath. Okay. But you got to know how to breathe first. So the goal of Qigong is to teach you how to adjust your breath low and also help open up your microcosmic orbit at will. Okay. So when it can circulate and when you can open the dantian and breathe into the battery, this is what the Taoists then would allow the neophyte or the student to learn other higher levels of alchemy, because they can do the microcosmic orbit and they know how to charge the battery. So this here, and which was what was told by my elder that actually just transcended, he
Mm.
said that most people skip preliminary steps. All right. Then he said, when you could charge the battery, now you can go on the fasting cultivation method where you fast, but it's not like the fast that the medical doctors, uh, the nutritionists, fasting specialists, this fast is different where you actually, in a sense, kind of learning how to eat energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're talking about breatharianism there.
Yes.
So
Or what other people, there's a few different terms, the solitarian, breatharian,
yeah.
but
Yes.
chronic breathing, that feeding off of the energy that's around us.
So your master said that a lot of people skip the fundamental steps. Can you tell us what those steps are? Let's say someone who's like brand new into tapping into their chi.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Cultivating your breathing and meditation. Okay. Well, you want to have, even having specific movements and a meditation practice and knowing how to fill up the dantian. You see, so and it's something you have to do consistently, knowing how to charge up. Now, again, it's like this. It starts off. See, qigong. It it doesn't start off as like this big meditation in the way that I teach it. It does not. It starts off as like kind of like a little annoying, like like hard work. You pushing through blockages. You trying to get acquainted with the breathing technique, and then you stretch into the extreme, to the max, right? So qigong starts off, well, you realize that one, you're kind of broke, right? When I say broke, you don't have a lot of chi in the beginning. You don't have a lot of after having chi. So when I say sink the chi, which means sink low in the lower abdomen, you don't really have any chi to sink in the beginning. So you have to stretch open the abdomen with your mind first and breathe into the stretch. And then over time, the chi will manifest in the lower abdomen. And when you just relax, the abdomen will expand out and like a balloon, slightly like on its own. All right. So in the beginning, I want you to think of it like this. When it comes to preliminary steps, you first have to understand that you've been living in this house, in this temple all of your life. And now you're developing a new level of awareness. Okay, like you're renovating. Like you could live in a house all your life, and you'd be like, you know what? I can make some changes in this house. So that's how it is when you first start spiritual practice, qigong practice. Well, you're trying to develop this awareness, and at the same time, it reveals a lot of your weaknesses in the beginning, your blockages. So it's different than acupuncture where you go to someone, or herbology, because acupuncture can only help with opening energy blocks, right? And helping with flow. But acupuncture can never get you abundant of chi. Eating healthy, that, don't get me wrong, that can help you not to dissipate chi, but it doesn't get you abundant of chi. This isn't based on how many avocados you eat in a day. It's based on the breathing, the meditation. That's what it's on. You don't get it from now, don't get me wrong. There are people that can fast for long periods of time, and if they have a lot of before having chi, they may could feel something, but for the most part, this is still different than fasting. Okay, because you're filling up with the spirit. So when we say, again, the preliminary steps, we're simply just talking about cultivating your breathing, because you have to understand, if I even take you outside in sunlight, okay, and I was to choke you out and you was to stop breathing, that sunlight hitting your body ain't doing nothing for you. Your body ain't can create no vitamin D or the hormone vitamin D3. It's the same if you eat food. You could eat the best berries in the world and they'll sit in your colon. But if I choking you out and you stop breathing, then berries just can sit inside you. So it's the natural function of breathing which brings the subconscious actions in the body. The breathing is what makes use of sunlight. Sunlight ain't useful unless you're breathing. It's the same with eating. So when you evolve your breathing, the subconscious functions of the body evolve. It's just as simple as that. You tap more into the ancestral memory. You may even tap into certain masters that are in your genetic lineage, and they may help you in dreams. They may help you, whatever it is. Or you may manifest a teacher that is aligned with whatever it is that you exude now, you know? So again, the foundation of it is cultivating the breath, the meditation. And as you do that, naturally, as you build up the chi, you will be very conscious of not wanting it to dissipate. So then you can start to think of, okay, I ate that and I don't think I like that too much. Don't get me wrong, everyone is different. Some people, they could get over addiction. Some, it takes quite some time. Like me, for example, I still addicted to food, but it's still this thing where I still like my chi, my meditation. So I'm starting to see where every year I'm starting to get more pleasure from my spiritual practice and meditation than everything else. Whether it's even from sex, from food. So over time, you have to understand, this has nothing to do with giving up pleasures. If you give up pleasures, you're suppressing things. All right. So what you're doing is you're finding a much greater pleasure and bliss. So you naturally will drop certain things, not because you read a book and the person said, hey, this is unhealthy for you. No, it's deeper than that. It's because now you've built up. And this is why there are human beings, both man and woman, right? The celibate yogis, the nuns, and then you have people that still use sex if they was like, in a unionship with someone that also cared about opening their channels. So they would use sex more from circulating, helping to open channels, right? That which is more of an uncommon thing, right? Most people can't use sex for spirituality. Most people on earth cannot use sex for spirituality. It's just not going to happen because you have to cultivate an awareness first in yourself, and then you develop more of an eros, more of an intimacy with yourself. Then if that other person, a woman, or right, for a man or man for woman, whatever, develops that intimacy within themselves, then they could say, hey, let's learn from someone on the tantra, or to then use sex to open channels. But not everywhere. There's so many different routes to ascension. But I'm just saying that the ones that went celibate, they just built a mass of chi to where they were so conscious of it, they didn't want to dissipate it. So the celibacy became a natural thing to them. But that was many years where their minds would begin to purify as a child. You know what I mean? So that's really what all of this is taking you to developing your character. Like what I said recently when we first started, I made some mistakes the past 2 weeks, or the past 2 months, really, and it slapped me back in my face. And now I like looking at it like, damn, like like it's just crazy to me how when you start to develop your own energy and your awareness, how you start to see these, it's almost like metaphysical parents or something, you know, and the universe will slap you back and adjust you even quicker, right? Just like when someone has more energy, when they get a cut, the cut will heal quicker, right? So I just saying all that to say, you have to know truly what self-knowledge really entailed. And it was spiritual cultivation. All right. Even with the astrotheology, the zodiac, knowing how to position yourself at certain times of the day. And then even at every month, you were born under a specific moon sign. The minute you came out your mother's womb, all of those constellations, all of those imprints from the star systems, and at the same time, the moon, the sun's position, that bombarded your avatar. right when you came out the womb for the first time. And that imprint stays with you. So the imprint from the moon sign, whether it's new moon, half moon, full moon, I was born under a full moon. All right. That particular time of the month is very sacred. Okay. That's when you could actually raise what's called a lunar seed that forms every month in you. All the energy that you collected in your lower abdomen or in your body, you could then raise it, that seed that is formed once every month. At that particular time, you could position yourself and level up. All right. And it's the same with sunrise, midday, with the daily ritual. So there's also parts of it where you position yourself at certain times of the day because you're always connected to the cosmos. And then you start to see how you could play the game much better. You know, we just don't know the rules of the game because we distracted. Another mouthful. All right. That's
No, this is
absolutely fascinating. You are just, I love how you're breaking this all down, and I know that you have so much more that you can share.
Yeah, I have more questions.
Yeah, I got it, and I have some questions too. So what would you say some of the health benefits that you've experienced and that you see others who are utilizing these practices? What are the health benefits from this?
I would say health benefits and like what like you got superpowers when you got chi flowing through you like that. Like what
Yeah, we talking about some Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah,
Naruto, Chi energy. Like I already know that, and a lot of people like, man, that's cosmic.
Yeah.
You know, but what are what are the health benefits?
What's
So
the
like,
spectrum? Let's talk
yeah,
about the
yeah.
spectrum.
You know, yeah, it's funny. You know, I have people asking me, "Can you move stuff with your mind yet?" And all that. I'm like, nah, man, nah. I'm just a brother, just trying to heal, man. You know, like
Yeah.
just like all we have a lot of healing to do, and I'm still at the beginning stages. So I'm just enjoying the health benefits and the insight and the awareness, the physical stamina. But for me, what it has freed me a lot from was self-judgment.
Mm.
Because we have this perfect model of how we want to live. And when we don't live to that ideal to the best of our ability, we start to judge ourselves very strongly. All right. And that's when I realized that I was judging myself not because I didn't live this perfect model, it was because I didn't know how to bring the spirit in. I didn't know how to charge up. So, like, for example, if your phone is energy is low and the battery dies, right? Or the energy is very low, you know it has a rechargeable battery. So all you do is just plug it in. It's like no big deal, right? So for human beings, again, you're not a human being, right? You are energy using the human as an instrument. The human body is an instrument for to experience life, right? You're an alchemist.
Yes.
So the human body is also a technology like your cell phone, but it's an organic technology. And this human body, yes, was created by creator gods, by beings, just like this planet, just like this matrix. All right. You could say that they are like your, now there's some talk with, okay, the other creator gods manipulated our DNA, which, okay, we could get, that's a whole nother story. But, you know, yeah, that also happened, right? But there are good ones. All right. Not all of them just want to use you as cattle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, for me, just like how you would go and charge your phone and be like, okay, the battery, the energy low, let me go do that. That's all it is for me. Like, okay, the human body's an instrument. Let me go outside, find my spot, and let me go charge it up. Boom, take away the self-judgment. The reason I had self-judgment was because I had energy depleting habits, but I didn't know how to bring the energy into, you know what I mean? Like I was only good at depleting energy, and the only thing I relied on to get energy was sleep. And if you only rely on sleep, you don't have a lot of it. You ain't charging. Yep. Sleep is like the body's last ditch effort to charge itself up. It's not really an efficient way to charge up, to be honest. Sleep is not even true rest. It's just repair. Most of the time it's from what we eat. You deplete our energy. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, there's some beings that they don't even sleep like that because they're so refined, right? Now, of course, you need sleep to repair. But what I'm saying is most human beings, they rely only on sleep, which is unconscious, like cultivation, you could say. But if you only rely on sleep, you don't have a lot of it. So that's when I realized, okay, I can consciously charge up. So now, do I get fatigue? Yes. Do I still have energy depleting habits? Yes. Do I still do dumb shit? Yes. I still that same nigga. I still that same. It ain't, I still gotta work on a lot. But I know how to charge up. So I recover quick. So when for example, instead of me feeling fatigued and like trying to, okay, let me try to look for this superfood, let me get some ginger, or all of that stuff is still a stimulant, right? It still is. But when you know how to like do your thing, you can go out in nature, out to the park, to the beach, to the mountain, wherever it is, by some trees, find your spot and charge up, and you will feel the willpower, the self-love, the childlike state all come back into you. But can you deplete it and dissipate it? Oh, you do it every day. I do it every day. But you have to charge. You got to do this consistently. It starts off as a discipline, but then it starts to become like this natural thing. Like, for example, when you drink water, that's not really a discipline. You just thirsty. All right.
Right.
You thirsty, and it's a necessity, right? It's a necessity. You're just fulfilling a necessity. It ain't like let me post, I drinking water the best one. No, it ain't. I don't post me going to charge up all the time, because it's just, so when I feel fatigued, I just go and I get energy. It's just like when you drink water. It's like you satisfying an energy thirst, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Right? It ain't that deep, but it's deep because we forgot how to do it. You see? So
Yeah.
because we forgot how to do it, that's why I coming in and I showing people this technique to help them get to the point where they know how to charge up. It's the foundation. Don't get me wrong. There's other things you can have to do. You can have to let go. Emotions can start to rise. Experiences can come. And when you start to develop chi, life changes. And you have to continually trust in the process, because there's suffering that happens to fire up the soul. And if that suffering didn't take place, you would have not found redemption. You would have not found that next level of what you call purification. All right. Everyone already cultivating energy, but everyone doing it poorly, very poor, because you wouldn't have been alive. You wouldn't have been alive. It's just when you get more conscious of it, open up the body, open the channels, do the Dharma exercise every day. I got up and I did the exercise, and it's annoying. You don't feel the benefits right away, just like anything else. But as time go by, just like when you are a sailor out to sea and you inexperienced, you don't know how to adjust the sail to catch the wind, and it could be chaotic, right? You probably could catch it like if the wind blowing in one direction, right? But if the wind kind of a little chaotic and a neophyte, he'll have a difficult time. So what will take place? He'll use, as a hybrid, sailor boats, you could run the engine, the motor in the back. But that costs more energy though, right? You got to use more gas, more oil. All right. So in the beginning, the sailor, because he don't know how to adjust the sail, he uses more energy and gas. But as he gets better and learns how to navigate the waters, he can adjust the sail and bam, the wind will carry him. That's the same for spiritual practice. In the beginning, you will get tired trying to do qigong, because you're trying to you're using energy trying to open up blockages. So you get tired. You don't get like all like, oh wow, like this is amazing. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Some people say it, but I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, just take your time, okay? All right. So then after a while, the chi will carry you and it will begin to teach you. And that will be the guru. And I tell people, I ain't your guru. I never want to be that. I don't even believe in the whole like leader thing. Like, I ain't your leader either. I here to inspire, even when I talk to some young brothers and stuff like that. But the main thing is for you to develop yourself and you be that guru and that leader. Everyone says it, but I truly, what do I mean by that? Your own universe, which is your body, the cosmos, it begins to speak to you. Your own sacred ancestors begin to speak to you through you. Understand, the smile on your face could have been given to you from your great, 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 great grandmother. That exact same smile from your great grandparents could resurface on your face. The body never forgot who you were. It's just your emotional mind, the trauma, the addictions, all of that pushed all of this beautiful ancestral knowing deep into the subconscious. Why is that? Because the body thinks it's serving you. Even all the parasites in you and all the stuff you eating, it thinks it's serving you. That's what the universe does. It's always adjusting, right? So once you understand these principles, you then start to develop the practice. Because when I teach Qigong, it ain't about me. It's about you. You, as you develop yourself, and then you start to have this insight, and it will start, and you will feel the flow. You will feel so many things will begin to make sense. All right. But so I'm like a representative or a spokesperson for the chi that's trying to push through your blockages as a teacher. And then as you begin to develop, you basically you don't even need my voice anymore like that, you know.
I love
Wow.
that, man.
Wow.
Profound.
You talking spicy, man.
Super spicy.
You talking really spicy. So,
Yeah.
okay, I want you to talk to us a little bit. Like, let's say somebody doesn't know about energy depleting behaviors or habits. Talk to us about that. Like, what are people doing on a daily basis that is depleting that energy?
Oh yeah, it's, man, I still have it. I mean, I could tell you. So first thing, okay, obviously the two biggest culprits that dissipate your chi is the addiction to food and the addiction to sex. Two biggest culprits. Now there are other ones. Yes, you have the 7 deadly sins, as the Christians talk about. The 7 deadly sins are just mental aberrations that obstruct the flow of life flowing through the body. All right. Greed, pride, gluttony, lust, all of these things, it dissipates your power. Whereas when you cultivate virtues, the virtues, character, it helps to develop your power. All right. So when we talk about that, it's mainly, again, looking at a stuffing stuff in the body all the time, not giving it time to clean itself out, right? All the stuff we accumulated in our bodies from childhood, right? From the food stuffs we ate. Okay. There's certain herbs and clays, psyllium husk, certain things that help to scrape the plaque off that fruits and juices do not really do too well. There's certain herbs that help to scrape the piping system in the body. Like you have people that ate clean for damn near 5 to 8 years and they still got plaque in them because you got it will help the juices and stuff, and the fasting will help to get the rotten stuff out of the colon. But that plaque that been stuck and became hard to your walls, you got to use some other techniques, man. Fasting and eating clean don't get it out too. It don't really get it out too well. Can the body get it out? Yeah, but it'll just take a very long time. All right. So And this is for both men and women, but men predominantly have a disadvantage with sex than women, you see. But women still, too much sex, it's put stress on their body. And what a lot of people don't know is women are actually never really supposed to have sex unless they are yearning for you to be inside them. Notice that's why the foreplay is so important, right? A woman should never in her entire life have sex when she don't feel like it, because it causes blockages. It can cause little knots to form in the yoni, and it's just, it's actually against law. Okay, so you have to understand. So even as a man, you got to know that she has to deeply yearn for you to be inside her, and her yoni will open up like a lotus. Okay, like that. So, and then the same for a man, he has to also regulate himself. Make sure he ain't losing, make sure he ain't having too much sex, or you lose focus, right? So, and again, being a Caribbean man, trust me, I see how we've been raised in a way where we love women more than we love ourselves. Oh, I know, boy. I got some cousins, even like how I was like, you love women more than you love yourself. So you got to get yourself out of that spell and get back into the devotion to life, to your evolution. You see, there's another thing that the yogi said as well, that when a couple has too much sex, they start to not like each other. When it's too much, when it's depleting, because they start to they kind of dragging each other down, you know. So there's a part of it as well where both of you get to experience a different level of intimacy when you get to channel it upwards, when you get to cultivate together, when you have dreams that you want to develop together. All right. So again, relationships can also be very energy depleting. You got to have certain boundaries that you set up. You got to know how to protect yourself. You got to know how to say no, right? Whether it's your mother, sister, boyfriend, or whoever it is, you got to know, set boundaries. That also can be very detrimental for your practice. Okay. And yeah, I think that's a good enough answer.
Man, that was an awesome answer.
We have a question in the comments. Where can I find his videos and start to practice Qigong?
Okay, great. Well, you can message me on IG. Again, the Qigong practice that I teach is not on the internet. Okay, you'll only find it through me, my Shifu. I do have my good friend Soul and Grandmaster as well, but I do have a program. It's a 2-month program as well, where you can hop on the group sessions. I teach morning and night, and we also do one-on-ones. So just message me on IG. I assume they'll, you could find me on their page, Eso_the_God. All right. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And once you know it and stay dedicated to it, you have it with you for the rest of your life. It's something you can pass on as well. Another thing, when a couple both cultivating their energy, their offspring inherits more of their virtues and their energy. Because the issue is, you see, the church, religious people are stuck in prayer, religious ceremony, having good virtues, right? But they miss out the yogi exercises. You know what I mean? They throw out the stuff where you have to bring both together, right? Mm-hmm. The virtues, the discipline, all of that, plus cultivating your energy, your character. So this is why the whole celibate thing was given a bad rap by our religious leaders, because they just suppressed it, but they're not transmuting it. And you have to know how to at least breathe into your battery, man. Let's just start with basic 101. If you ever was to meet any immortal, whether it's an earth immortal up on the mountains or a master, they would always start you off with, they'll point and they'll slap their abdomen and be like, you got to start here. This is where health preservation is. And even to attain enlightenment, you had to know how to store chi in the battery first. To then send it up the spine to awaken the pineal gland. All right. That's your true storing the breath is your true substance to open up the pineal. All the DMT, all the other things are secondary things.
Love that.
Whoo, you are on fire, Eso. Oh
Man,
my God.
y'all ain't know, man, how much
I already see what you tapping into, because
when you
I
said
have,
pineal, your like pineal lit up. Like
yeah.
you're I can visually see the energy flowing through you. Like
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, it was like a bolt. It was
felt.
like a bolt of electricity. Just
yeah, I was like, oh, okay. We
that's
doing magic.
that's that Super Saiyan God in you.
You know, it's just thanks, man. You know, it's a beautiful thing when you learn this and then you just start to flow with it in your own way, your own walk. The light will carry you, you know. So it ain't this thing about groupthink. This ain't this thing where everyone got to get in a community and think alike. Like, and don't worry, it's not like that. Everyone have their destiny. You know what I mean? It ain't just as, oh, well, let's all go build huts and villages, and not everyone want to do that. You know what I mean? So it's just allowing the soul to express itself and to break free from the social engineers and the think tanks that these demonic elites have tried to imprint onto us in these education systems. They're not education systems, they were indoctrination camps. And the worst part is the curriculum came from the Vatican. You know, even from being here in Bahamas, right? The curriculum came from the Vatican. So the ones that conquered our ancestors are teaching us. So it's strange when you start to see that the enemy, we don't even know how it feels to be without them, because they've engrossed and spread their tentacles deep into our culture. So we have to cut the cords of these social engineers, these think tanks, these mind control tactics that are impressed upon us when we was young. And they're very slick, man. They're sly. A lot of them are in the esoteric community. And then getting us all, you know, distracted, emotionally mad. Oh, well, Sam Smith, he dressed like the devil. And who gives a shit, man? That's what the archons do. The archons, the Gnostics call these energies, these inorganic, demonic energies, the archons. They stage events to extract emotional energy out of you. All right? You just don't pay attention. That's all you do. Bring your attention to your light. That's what it is. If you ever watch Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, and notice at the end, the girl turns his back to him. I'm not scared of you. She turns his back to him. Don't give him no attention. And he starts screaming and dissipating, because their energy cultivation is your attention. So you have beings and spirits. You call them evil, but they only trying to cultivate energy like you. But the way they go about it is more in a parasitic way, not a matter of good and evil. They trying to evolve. All right. So your human attention is their source energy for them to survive. So, you know, they just trying to eat, man. Just don't feed them. That's all it is. Let other humans feed them. I'm not going to feed them. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, well, the children could watch the ground. No, just turn off the TV, bro. That's all. And then there is no Grammys without an audience, right? Without, and it's the same with everything. They set up all of these fake stage events, right? And they will say, oh, wow, look at what happened here. And, you know, all to get you emotionally stirred up. That's all they do, to take you away from acting in your power. They always want you to act in your trauma and not in your power. All right. And mind you now, even with me knowing all this knowledge and cultivating, I still deal with shit. Can you imagine someone that don't have anything? How these dudes alive? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be thinking like that. But I come and I teach from a down to earth standpoint to say, hey, look, I just a brother just passing this on. I still getting myself together. I still developing myself. Focus on you. All right. This is just a technique that been passed to me. And this just out of my love for humanity, for my people. That's all it is. But
Mm-hmm.
I got some stuff that I go in deeply in. And okay, let me let that go. Good, good. I let it go. Yes, yes, yes. Bam, slip, fall right back into it. It just happens. But never give up. The only way to lose in the game is to stop cultivating. It's to stop developing the awareness. Eating something bad don't stop you. It's when you give up. That's when it stops you, you know. So again, you got to bring the ancients called it transformative attention, where you bring it back into your avatar, attention and awareness. So when for people that don't have transformative attention and awareness, we've developed other systems like herbology, acupuncture, all these different systems, right? Where, okay, I may not have the focus to stimulate my liver with my mind in my meditation, but I have someone I could go to give that is a biochemist that could allow me to ingest something to stimulate the liver that way, right? So because humanity lost its lack of meditation and awareness and the fall happened, we started to develop all these different techniques of medicine. But when you know true Qigong and meditation, you don't really need herbs. You don't really need all that stuff. I know how to charge my battery. I don't, CMOS cannot give me anything anywhere close to how I feel when I go charge up. It just can't do it. Now, was it something someone can use when they don't know, they don't have their breathing at a level? Yes, beautiful thing. But over time, you realize that all you do is just shit it out. That's all that happens. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, this has been an awesome interview. Like,
Cosmic, super cosmic. You are super cosmic, brother.
yes,
You are.
out of the world.
Yes. I feel
appreciate
like the world needs more of you. Do you have any final questions for him?
Just you've given so much in just a short period of time. Can you peel back the curtain and give a glimpse of what you're going to present for the Integrator Summit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I'm gonna present the actual technique that helped me. Because when I'm in that state, or when I've done my practice, I keep the awareness and my mind stays in the battery. So it's like this thing where the brain stays connected to the gut. It's like boom, they both working together. And my breath slowed down to where it's 3 to 6 breaths per minute. And that's naturally. That ain't me trying to make it slow. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, like I know it's trippy. I'm like, damn, am I really breathing that slow? And I'm not. It's because of the mass amount of breath that you start to store as you open up. So what I'm presenting is I will still have a little talk. I'll try to make it into 10 minutes, right? But it's just some of the it's called I Ching Jing, muscle tending changing qigong, and it's the first exercise that I learned. Now it's I Ching Jing and Bad Wan Jin are the two most popular qigongs in the world, but a lot of it is missing the technique to really open up and cultivate. All right. So again, I want to introduce I Ching Jing, muscle tending Ching Qigong, but only part, like some of the moves, right? To get the full move, you would have to enroll in the program. You see,
And
but
and
it still would be good.
we'll make sure that you have space to tell everybody how to enroll in your program at the
Absolutely.
Integrator Summit as well.
Yes.
because we
Okay.
need this.
Oh yeah,
We need this.
and that's the point of the Integrator Summit, is to present everything that we have that we're all utilizing and bring it all into a unified mind that we can all implement together
Absolutely.
and raise the collective vibration and consciousness.
Yes, 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 yes.
Absolutely. And you see, I like to bring it to a down to earth level where it just makes sense. Okay, I get it. I get it. That makes sense to me. And when it makes sense to you, and then I teach you it, you have a intellect to understand why you're doing this.
Mhm.
So good. It was a pleasure exchanging.
Yes, thank you. We
Yes,
should
thank you
definitely
so
do this
much.
more often.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. We got you guys on Instagram. Thank you for the lovely comments. Join the Integrator Summit. It's a free summit. Just go to theintegratorsummit.com. It is February 18th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So go to theintegratorsummit.com and get your free ticket right now.
Theintegratorsummit.com. It's free, y'all. So
Yeah.
tap in, tune in, and get this wealth of information and wisdom that is coming from all around the planet.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Eso.
Thank you so much.
We
All
look
right.
forward to connecting with you further, and we're going to have to meet in the physical sometime soon.
Oh man, we're gonna go on some adventures together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If y'all, yeah, man, if I can't come to America for the time being, that's a long story. But yeah, y'all could visit the Bahamas, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I live in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and it's literally just a 30-minute flight from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
Say
we
less.
right there, man. It's such an easy flight over. It's like down in America,
Yeah.
So,
We are there.
Bet. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much
Yes,
for
thank
tuning
y'all so
in.
much for tuning into this cosmic conversation with Eso the God.
Yes. And if you're watching, we got another one in an hour. So definitely check in with us in 1 hour because we'll be going live one more time.
Yeah.
Have a blissful evening, brother. And we'll see you soon.
Yes. And continue vibrating your magnificence.